How we doing, y'all? How we doing? How we doing? Hope everyone is good. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. That would be much appreciated. Let me make a couple adjustments here. Let me know if you can hear me here. Just waiting to go. Looks like I'm getting these notifications now. I think we should be good. Let me know where you guys are at too. If you care to drop that in the comments, how you're doing, how's everything going. I will get right into it here in a sec. I think we're good. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. Here's what we're going to do today. If you're watching on the replay and you have thoughts about this, obviously this is kind of like a really interesting and timely topic, I would say, to a certain degree. Kind of about like the future of WordPress and all that stuff. We're going to get into that. We do this every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm on here live. And normally in the first couple, like 5-10 minutes, I kind of just go over some weekly stuff that just in case you missed it. Just because there's a lot of shit out there, a lot of content. I'm doing a lot of things. Other people are doing a lot of things. I like to shout some stuff out. So we're gonna dive right into that real quick. I'm gonna throw some links in the chat. If you guys have questions, thoughts, anything, just want to say hello, go ahead, throw them in there. But here's a couple things for you. So the first thing, obviously, is just over on my channel here. There's a couple things that I want to talk about that happened this week. Mainly just down here, honestly, in the guest appearances were a couple things and a couple words of mentioning here. Is that I did an impromptu, kind of like a premiered live stream type thing with Matt Medeiros over the WP Minute. This is a really good, in my opinion, I mean, I'm a little biased, but this is a really good video to watch if you are an agency, you're looking to improve your tool set, just trying to like get ideas, you're just interested in other things that people are using. That would be a great one to watch. Link in the chat there. Tools and plugins for your WordPress agency. I had a great time, as always, talking to Matt. And there you go. Ruben, good morning to you. Good sir. Appreciate you being here. So we got that there. Next thing is, it was announced. It was announced, and we're going on the speed build challenge with Jamie Marsden. We're gonna be talking about his video about Wix and the marketing strategy and everything like that, obviously here in a couple minutes. But announcement wise, yeah, gonna be going up against Thomas over at Grade, the co-founder of Grade, and I'm assuming he's gonna be using Gutenberg and like the Grade suite. I would think. So that's gonna be really interesting. Look at that Mark with that facial hair. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. It's I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to this speed build challenge. I'm also kind of scared shitless because I feel like I'm okay at bricks, but I put a tweet up and I was like, I volunteer as tribute when this was formally announced because I'm pretty certain I'm the first one outside of the Gutenberg space to do this. And yeah, I mean this is again like a pretty interesting series thus far. If I go over to Jamie's playlist here real quick, if you haven't seen all these, maybe go take a look. I'll drop the playlist in here. But yeah, I mean they've been definitely really interesting. And there was one recently too, like he did it at WordCamp Europe. So I don't know. Let's see here. A couple. You're going to be blocked if you don't do well. Yeah, it's very understandable. I hope I don't let you guys down. And then with ACSS, yeah. So like I don't know if there's any rules specifically, but my normal stack would be bricks, advanced themer, ACSS, and then like maybe even frames. I do really feel like using frames is kind of cheating, but at the same time, in my opinion, like frames and then compared to Gutenberg patterns or like like the things that come in themes are kind of the same. So I don't know. We'll have to see if I can use frames or not. But yeah, I think FSE and Gutenberg will be the future. Well, I mean, I do also agree with that because that is WordPress core and that is what they're pushing for. And I'm not a person that's like opposed to that. We can talk more about that here in a second when we go to the future talk, but I'm not opposed to that. I just want to always continue to get better, and I think we need to continue to listen to the people that are doing the work and are out in the field and all that sort of stuff. So, Brendan O'Connell, good morning, my friend. Yes, sir. And let's go. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully, you guys are there. Head over to this little thing. I don't know if did I put this in there. I don't know if I did. I think I might have, but I'll put it in there again. Yeah, go over there, smash the notify me button, try to support me maybe when I go on that thing. I don't know, it should be good. So we'll see, but that's exciting. My website's almost done too, as another random aside. We don't necessarily need to go into that today, but a lot of really good resources. I've actually taken a lot of inspiration from a lot of other great people, so I'm really excited to share some of that stuff with you guys rather than just the videos. Another random thing is WS Form. I have that somewhere up here. Is this version right here that just came out like literally yesterday. Mark Westgard, I'm gonna keep saying it until the day that I die, that he's just a wizard. Like, I came to him with an issue, and like, it was a very specific thing, and that I actually experienced in my other video about my other live stream a couple weeks ago about YouTube, like kind of recreating YouTube, and he was able to fix it like right away and add the feature in there. So if you want to check out the YouTube thing, I'll make a video on this WS Form thing that I'm talking about, but you can basically just like you can bring content into a form dynamically from a jet engine dynamic queried variable now, like a field. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just crazy. The amount of flexibility there is, everything like that. So yeah, maybe in 2 to 3 years, yeah, with the FSC and everything like that. Nick Arcee, my boy, how are you doing, man? I'm loving your live streams, and I'm so happy that I'm pronouncing your name right now. That is awesome. Appreciate you being here. WordPress 7. Yeah, we'll see if 7 point, yeah, whatever star. Yeah, we'll see if we'll see how it continues to go. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about that here in a second. I know I keep alluding to that, so let me get rid of some of these things. My big face here on this thumbnail. My other thing that I got here is, if you're interested at all in this WP Tonic Roundtable show, I'll drop the link in here. I got the name right. I'm so pumped. If you're interested, right after this, I'm going to be on the WP Tonic, so just go over there and click notify me if you want to watch some of that. Really good information, really good like topics, kind of. I don't know if he puts them in here. Yeah, he does. So some topics that we're going to go over real quick after, not in this stream, but again, like in 1 hour from now. Some like AI stuff, talking about like how music and AI and all that sort of stuff is getting kind of crazy. Our boy right here, Matt Medeiros, right here in the chat. Appreciate the love there. We're gonna be talking about his one of his most recent podcast, like little 5-minuters here. Really interesting stuff. I don't know. It's sort of in line kind of with what we're talking about here. Obviously, like just WP news and everything like that we'll kind of go over. But definitely go check that out. And again, we'll be talking about that at the roundtable. And then US sues Adobe. That was pretty fun. That was a pretty funny lawsuit there. WordCamp, and I think we're talking about Jamie's video and stuff like that in here too. But just a couple other things if you want to go check that out. That would be greatly appreciated to see you guys over there in the chat and all that sort of stuff. Now, I want to talk about one quick topic real quick, and then we're diving right into Jamie's situation here. And also, I could probably bring up, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet from Kevin this morning. Really, I mean, just a lot of good points. I don't know really else what to say. Just thought provoking. Two quick things, or this, and then we're gonna slide right into the kind of the future WordPress stuff. I had a kind of a consulting call that was booked with me, and I'm not sharing any of the details of the consulting call, but like just like this concept that kind of, it comes up all the time, and then it was also like brought up there, and it's this concept of like DIY versus done for you. And I think that this all lends itself into this big conversation of like WordPress versus Wix versus what you should use and everything like that. So to kind of like prime the conversation of like where WordPress is going and what all that is, I'm going to give you this anecdote of what I experienced literally as recently as yesterday, but in in the totality of like everything that we deal with. So like, if you are a person, I find it very interesting as I've gotten deeper into the WordPress community, and I've like tried to use my experience, but also coupled that with like what I'm learning and what I'm seeing. I think about it like this. I've never wanted to start a business other than building websites, right? But because we're in the business of building websites, or we work with websites and everything like that, it's a different type of business in a sense, okay? It's a different type of business. The reason it's different is because everyone needs a website, right? Like every business needs a website. I would argue maybe every person even needs a website, but that's kind of outside the scope of it. But my point is, we're not in a business where it's very specialized and we're only going to work with certain people, right? Again, you could talk about different client types that you want to work with and all that sort of stuff, sure. But a website is so ubiquitous that like we could effectively, if we really wanted to, not saying it's advisable, work with like a vast majority of the population, right? At least all businesses. I'm not saying it's possible. I'm saying like that's our net, our pool that we're searching from. But as a comparison, if you were I don't know what's a better one. If you were like a baker or like what's another like service provider? Like if you were a power washing company or something like that. That's probably not a good one. But there's a bunch of other businesses types like that, like they're service based, that like are not going to deal with as many people as we potentially could. So the interesting thing is, this website thing has been kind of like put in a way where like everyone can do it and everyone has the power to do it. Everybody's really good at it almost, it seems like sometimes. Like that's kind of what I feel a little bit of just from seeing it. So then I get like questions, or I get like, consulting calls, or I just see it online where I love the idea of like democratizing, like publishing, everything like that. But we definitely do not talk about that honestly enough. Like building a website needs to not be seen as like an easy thing. I do not think that that's like a really good way to position website design, development, creation of websites. It can't be seen as so easy that anyone can do it well. Anybody can do it, sure, and they can get it up and it can work. But I just think that like there is so much of that kind of going on that it's like the thesis of what I'm saying here, DIY can sometimes be even more detrimental than just paying somebody to do it. Like you could absolutely waste way more of your time than your money could have bought by trying to do something yourself that is out of your depth, and like you're never going to be able to do it and you're going to just run into problems. So I'm not saying not to do it. I'm not saying to not DIY stuff. I'm not saying to not encourage people to democratize publishing and all that sort of stuff. I am saying though that I would love to have like a little caveat in there that says, hey, listen, don't make it sound like this is going to be a fucking walk in the park, because it's not always a walk in the park, especially if you're a visionary, which is, I talk to these people all the time, that they have great ideas, but they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the skill set, or it just doesn't make any sense for them to actually go about learning how to use, whether it's the block editor or whether it's dynamic data or like a learning management system. Like I literally have this happen. People come to me and they say, I have a business idea. I want to do all this myself. Can you like consult me on how to do it? And like, I mean, yeah, I can, but I just want you to understand that this is going to take you a long fucking time because you don't know what you're doing, which is fine if you're okay with that. But then you will also get a little bit down the line, somebody saying, hey, this is taking a little too long. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of my depth. I'm trying to do things that like I know I can't do as like some other, as a professional in some other industry, right? Imagine you're talking to somebody that's like a baker or something, right? And they're not actually in this every day. They're not trying to do it every day. They have to like run their business and try to develop their website. I just feel like a lot of times we like literally undersell ourselves because we're just cannibalizing what we're doing here. Like we're underselling the value that we're providing. I really do not like that. There's a way, I feel like there's a middle ground that we can stick in. And I think a lot of times we're like way too far one way, like where it's like nobody can build their own websites. And the other way, where like everyone can build their own websites that are as good as fucking Amazon. And I do not like either of those ends. So a little bit of a rant there. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. See if we got any good comments on that. I'm on WP Minute this week, so listen to my episode. Yes, 100%. Brendan, I'm super excited to see you on there. D123, good morning. Plumber is a great example. We were talking about there. I was losing my mind on trying to think of a good service. Yeah, a plumber building their own website. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying these are all like risk and like cost benefit analysis type questions. I don't know if we're doing enough cost benefit analysis. I don't know if we're having enough of those discussions. Like music, everyone should be a star. Yeah, it's tough. It's so easy. A caveman could do it. Yeah, that's it's interesting. Skating choreographer Mark. How are you, buddies? Missed you. Sorry, I missed all your live streams. We're very busy. It's all good. I'm happy you're busy, and I appreciate you being here. Everything's good. I appreciate you. Brennan O'Connell, yes sir. Skating choreographer. Brennan waving. Are you sure your audience here are devs? I have no idea. I mean that's a good question. I mean maybe they are. I would think that some of them are, but we'll see. This is something I think Kevin falls down on. Yeah, I mean elaborate on that with me. I mean like I don't know. The question is, it's a really good question, and I think again it speaks to the kind of the future of WordPress and kind of like what the concept is there. Maybe we're not speaking directly to like actual people that are like dev focused. And I'm not even I don't even like calling myself a dev because I don't really do much coding, but like there's got to be like a middle ground there because like I'm not a designer, I'm not a dev, I'm like more of like that, you know, the webmaster type thing or whatever. But I really like creating the dynamic data like relationships and like that's like I'm like more of like a website architect or something. I don't want to steal that dude's name, but yeah, that's kind of I feel like that's really more of where I am. And I don't know what the content lends itself to, but that's a really good point though, right? Because like if I put up information about like how to do something and it's like in a bricks building platform or something, or, you know, the bricks builder platform, then it's like, how do people take that? Who is watching that? Are they kind of like developers that are building for other agencies? Are they whatever? And just like one random thing is like, obviously one thing I've learned is to just preface whatever I'm doing with that. So for instance, like if it's a consulting call or whatever, I'm putting a new question in there. It's like, who are you? Like, are you a DIYer that's in this field? Are you trying to build websites, many websites? It's really one question. It's like, are you trying to build one website or hundreds of websites is really the question. And if you're trying to build one website, all I'm saying is that is a totally different fucking approach than if you're trying to build hundreds, okay? If I'm out in my backyard and I'm trying to build a deck, okay, that is totally different than me trying to like build a business of it. Better fuck the deck like conversation, okay? If I'm trying to fix my faucet in my bathroom, okay, that is a totally different conversation than if I say, hey, I want to fix my faucet in my bathroom. How do I do it? Versus, hey, I want to start a plumbing business. That's totally different. So like, I just think that the problem is that we don't have that minutia and that nuance enough in a lot of the conversations. And while I love the open web, I love democratizing publishing, I do think that we need to be like more realistic a lot of times in that conversation, because it's not even about can you do this, it's about more like should you do this. So, and again, I want to get into the Jamie video because I think it's really good. So talking about underselling and the non-educated human should not be hearing that they are underselling themselves. They should not be selling anything. I gotta read that again. Talking about underselling, the non-educated caveman should not be hearing that they are underselling themselves. They should not be selling anything. Yeah, I mean, if I'm understanding that correctly, I don't know. Like I don't know. I think if I'm understanding that correctly, it's kind of like you shouldn't be selling your skills until you kind of like know enough to sell. And I do kind of agree with that. At the same time though, I mean, everybody starts not knowing anything. So I think that there's kind of like more nuance to that. But generally I would say, yeah, for me, it butts up against ripping people off. And it's not done in a way of malicious intent, I think, most of the time. But yeah, you don't want to like say that, because I've kind of done this, so I'm kind of guilty of it. But so a quick example, if I'm understanding correctly, is like, okay, you get a project lead and you've never done like a learning management platform with e-commerce and subscriptions, everything like that. And somebody comes to you and they say you want to do that. And then you say, yeah, I can do that. But you've never fucking done that. So like, I don't think that's inherently wrong, but I do think that like you have to you should probably be honest, and you should probably tell them that like, I've never necessarily done this, not maybe in this direct way, but like I am absolutely capable of doing this based off like the systems that the tooling that I have is capable of doing this. We just may need to go through like a couple versions of trying to figure out certain things. But at the same time, though, that is almost in every single project. Like, yeah, unless you're doing like super the same type of thing every single time and just ripping them out, every single project I do learn something. So I'm kind of mixed on that, but I do agree that like you don't want to like sell shit when you don't know how to do it at all. I think that there's a little bit of ethics you got to play in there. Did you watch the latest Jamie Marsden video? I think he started from the right premise but got to the wrong conclusions. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, Tudor. Appreciate you bringing that up. That's kind of the main meat and potatoes here. I do want to get to that, but I was prefacing with this little anecdote about the DFY stuff. Selling tools like the WOM kind of help highlight this for clients. Hey, here's all the things you need to do for your site. Yeah, I love the website owner's manual. Fantastic product by the admin bar, Kyle. With the implication that they probably won't have time and expertise to do it. I mean, that is a great way to scare the shit out of your clients, which I'm kind of all for. You got to like scare them straight kind of sometimes in that regard, depending on who it is, what they're trying to do. And that is, I do agree that's a great tool. Just because they don't understand what goes on to it. And similarly, okay, I'm not trying to make website development and owning an agency like the fucking god tier of industries, okay? I want to make it understood, like, I probably shouldn't be doing my own plumbing either. I mean, I'm not saying I shouldn't, but there's a level, okay? There's a level to it. Like, again, it's the same thing. If I could probably fix my faucet. Could I change my main line where the water comes into my house? No, I'm not going to do that. If I wanted to play around and I'm swearing probably more in this video than I am general, but if I wanted to, quote, fuck around and find out, I could try to go do that. But that's the exact same thing as like in web design, I feel like. It's like we need to understand that there's levels to it. And I just think that we need to be a little bit more, I think sometimes we border on being a little too friendly to like, and too lackadaisical on like what we're doing versus what we think somebody could do themselves. And it's not because I'm better than you or we're better than them or whatever. It's literally just because we do it more. Like it's not even like it's just an objective reality thing. It's not, I don't know how it's hard to do. IOW, the DIYers should not be hearing raise your prices. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it should probably be prefaced with raise your skills and then raise your prices. I feel like that would be probably a good way to go about it. Oh, so we are talking about the gym. Yeah. Not this second, but yes, it's up. I've gone a little longer on the preamble. It's the difference between selling something you have no idea how it's done and selling something can learn how it's done. Yeah, 100%. Good analogy. I want to fix my sink. It's totally different than I'm going to bust as yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about let's slide into the Jamie video too. It's our job. People just don't get that think they do this for fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's more like, yeah. I mean, again, it doesn't matter where you are either. I just trying to be objective as much as we can because there's a lot of different stuff. All right, so let's pop over here. All right, so if you haven't seen this video, I would highly recommend watching it. I put out a tweet said it was recommended or was required viewing for people in WordPress. And I've heard a lot of interesting takes on it. So I want to kind of just give my thoughts here live, and then I'd love to hear you guys. All right, so here's the thing. Great video. We're not going to watch this whole thing right here, but I'll give you the super highlights. It's only, again, 10 minutes anyway. But Jamie got an email from Wix, and he kind of put some information on here. I don't know if I would have went exactly about this, but this is now public. So he got an email from like a marketing person at Wix, and basically just said, "Hey, we want to sponsor some content for you. Like we want you to make some videos, and we want to give you money to do that and to promote Wix." Now, this goes back to like who you guys are as the audience of these videos, because some of you guys might be like, again, there's a spectrum of all that sort of stuff. Like, do you do this for more of the hobby? Do you do it as a DIY? Do you do it as an agency? Do you work for an agency? Do you create content of any level? Like that's kind of like the secondary thing. Like, do you create content? Do you consume content? Where are you on all of those metrics? Obviously I have the agency and I create content, so I'm kind of like in the middle of all this, but like with what Jamie's getting here, this is obviously not like foreign people reaching out all the time. I'm way smaller than Jamie subscriber wise, and like I get like people like asking me to like sponsor stuff. There's nothing really wrong with that. I think that's like a good practice. Again, super generally, we could talk about the nuance, but like you're gonna get solicited, okay? So like obviously in this case, he was solicited there. Now, I'm not trying to speak. I've only spoken to Jamie a couple times. I'm going to go on the speed build challenge. I'm not like talking specifically about Jamie in any of this. I'm just kind of talking about the video. The video itself, to me, when I watched this, was kind of like concerning in certain ways, just based off of the way that it was like the, not the video itself, but like the stuff in the video. So like this chart specifically, Jamie does a better job at explaining it than I do. But this is kind of like WordPress, the kind of the graph of WordPress. So like search interest is this, and this came from a slide I think he said at WCEU. So like there's this search interest of WordPress, right? Which is this light blue line here, light blue tealish line. Can I make this bigger? There we go. So yeah, so like it was like going up, and then in 2014 kind of is going down now in 2024. To me, like none of this is like surprising. It's actually like, it's not surprising, and I have some specific thoughts about it that Jamie like didn't necessarily say in the video. And then we have like the red line, which is like market share, which is like the big number that everybody says, right? It's still 43% of the internet, which to me like honestly doesn't make exact sense as we go through some of these other things, but let's keep going. Mature services, I don't even know exactly what we're kind of talking about there. And then this bottom part here is kind of like, I think even Jamie says like, is the more like concerning to a certain degree, like new WordPress websites, okay? So it was going up and up and up, and now it's kind of coming down. Now, if all this, assuming all this data is accurate, which, right, we don't have any reason to assume otherwise, like from the slide that was in the WCU presentation, I'm not like really surprised at this. Like I'm really not. Okay, and I want to give you like this is, you know, I put my opinions out on this channel, and then I want to hear you guys. My opinion is I'm going to go a different angle on this that I don't hear talked about enough. I am 28 years old, okay? I am like objectively pretty young in this community. And I'm one of the youngest content creators that I've seen in the WordPress space. Now, I'm not ageist, okay? By any means. I love everyone in this community, and I love hearing if you talk to anybody that I've talked to, you know, like I'm soaking up knowledge and wisdom like a sponge. I greatly appreciate everything that everyone has given me, okay? Here's the thing, though, that I'm just like seeing from a different perspective, I feel like, than a lot of people. I actually think that there's a lot of people that are, to some degree, like in love with WordPress, okay? And I'm formulating this whole thought right now, so it might be a little murky, okay? But you guys tell me if any of this resonates with you. I think there's a lot of people that have been in WordPress since they were in their 20s, or they were like early 30s or whatever, and even earlier or whatever. They found WordPress when it started. I did not find WordPress when it started. I found WordPress in 2018, right? So like they found it in like what, like 20, or like 2000, like early 2000s or whatever. They found it then, and they've seen it grow. They are literally attached to this platform, which is fantastic, okay? But I do believe, I have seen this, that it's like rose-colored glasses sometimes. There's still critiques, but there's like rose-colored glasses when compared to other platforms. And the huge thing is the open source nature of it, which I love open source. I love the open web. I want to own my data. I'm all for that. That's why I love WordPress. But I think that the times have changed. There were not as many options in the last 20 years or whatever. There are way more fucking options now. And I think that if we do not adapt a little bit, there is cause for concern. Do I think WordPress is going away tomorrow? No. Do I think, as the title of this, or the thumbnail of this, are you bullish or bearish on WordPress? I would say I'm more bullish than bearish. But I'm saying that like I'm not like 100% bullish, because I see this type of, you know, the types of graphs here that we're seeing, right? And it's like, if this is true, like that's concerning. Like, how can you not look at this graph and be like the wee bit is concerned if you're looking at this objectively? Would just be kind of like where I'm at. What do we got here? Give you the money, give me the money. I love Wix, hello, yeah. That one Jamie Marsden video where he praises WordPress for adding negative margin sums up the entire problem. Again, I mean, reasonably fair point there. But like, I think the problems are like deeper than that. There's a lot more to those types of things. Like, I don't know. Let's go over here too, because Kevin obviously always has good opinions that we all kind of like take in and kind of consume and think about here. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'll give you guys the link here. A lot of good opinions, a lot of good thoughts, right? And again, like I appreciate the objectiveness. Let's see if we can get some highlights here because I read this piece here. Yeah, like so, like they're light years better at marketing, advertising, education, cohesive brand development than WordPress is. Though I don't know how you can't say that those are reasonable and objective criticisms of like the WordPress platform. And again, I feel like I always have to preface this with like I get it because it's always product versus project. I totally understand that. I know we're taking steps. I actually have like borderline, I don't want to call it like insider information because it's all like public technically, but like WordPress, like make.wordpress and just making it better. Like I am so happy that I've like kind of like now been accepted, asked into or whatever, into like kind of the creator, you know, sphere of WordPress. I love it. It's awesome. I don't want to go anywhere. I want it to keep getting better. I just think again, we can't get caught up in the idea of we have to just keep moving forward. Like we have to keep like moving forward like with a direction and an understanding that these other platforms are like Kevin says it. I know you can't see it right now, but Kevin says it somewhere else in that tweet. Go look at it, read it. You know, where was it? Yeah, WordPress is glorious, but a severely wounded elephant surrounded by hungry wolves who have shown a strong ability to hunt and kill. That is so, to me, like that resonates to me, like because they like think about it, like again, and it's gonna be going back to the open source nature and everything like that. Like that's awesome, but like these other like think about if you were a business and you smelled blood in the water with the actual market share of like websites, and think about like the people that they're marketing to. It's just, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. I don't think it's, again, I'm not like hugely concerned, but I do think this is worth like actually talking about. First, the platform attachment you are witnessing is partly due to fanboyism. However, know that the dev power available in WordPress has not been as high as it has been in WordPress, which Wix is trying to change. Yeah. Matt Eastwood, fantastic subject. I'm at my in-laws now, but we'll rewatch the stream. Jamie's video and Kevin's response are thought-provoking as fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to form opinions as we do this, but like I'm literally just trying to like share what I'm seeing and my perspective with you guys. I really do think that there's like I have started to see that, and I don't want to use the age. I'm not using the age thing as like some sort of like, oh, you guys are old. I'm using it as like I haven't been here very long. I feel like I have fresh eyes, and I feel like I have like an attachment to it from a business stance, but I don't have an attachment from it like I literally coddled this project up. And I totally get that. I get it, but I'm just saying that I feel at a certain point there's a level of subjectivity that it goes too far in certain cases. And again, people like fairly criticize it and everything. Like it's just there's too many questions. Like I have a list that I never made a video on. Like I'm looking at my notes over here. Like all of these questions about like WordPress and just like you know FSE in general. And again, they're not even like really criticisms because I feel like I can't criticize it super heavily if I don't use it like super often. But like I've tried it and it's just like I don't know. I don't know. So maybe it's just a different mind frame that I don't have. I don't fully understand. Imagine when the first open source professional alternative comes out. Well, I mean that's a good point. I mean, there's been things I guess that have been forked, and there's been like there's I put out a tweet the other day. I was like, where is it? It was I can't remember where it is. Oh, here it is. So, if WordPress vanished tomorrow, what do you do / where would you go? It got like 40. This must have gotten picked up, on the For You rather than just the following or whatever. But a lot of good responses, a lot of interesting feedback here, and a lot of Laravel, a lot of like I'm just switching careers. a lot of different stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know. I don't, Drupal from Matt, it's like, what do we do? I heard this Statamic a bunch of times too. That was kind of an interesting one. Yeah. So like, I mean, my point is like I guess really at the end of the day, it matters what you value. And I think that a lot of times, the open source one comes up a lot. The ease of use comes up a lot. And I don't know. I just think that here's my thing, actually. I'll take another angle. It's interesting to go back to the Jamie Marsland video about like the Wix master plan and everything. Really appreciate his investigative journalism there too, though. Again, regardless of how the video kind of shapes out, like I appreciate him like looking into that for whatever reason. Like, I mean, I appreciate it. But my thing is like, I think we need to be, and again, let me stop here because I know this is gonna probably some of this is gonna be taken out of context. It's like an hour-long stream or whatever. I want to say directly into the camera that I know that this is on the radar, so to speak, of WordPress. I think that there's just still confusions that hopefully I get to understand more, and then I could potentially share with my audience or whoever, just the community in general, through like the content and things that I continue to do. I know that people are like listening. The trouble that I have is that I still feel like there's a conflict of the way that at least I'm understanding WordPress. And this, I think, is WordPress, when you hear the word like open source and project rather than product, I feel like it's the perception that I get from that is that it's supposed to be like community. Everything is open. Everything is accessible. You can literally hop in the meetings with the people. You can be in the Slack channel, everything like that. You obviously cannot do that at Webflow. You cannot like hop in the company Slack channel at Webflow, just as an example, obviously, or Wix or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like it's one of those things where like there's no like direct line in the sand for me from where like I understand, meaning that if I know some of the back end stuff that's going on, like then I ask questions, or like, not me specifically, but just like we ask questions about kind of what's going on. Why is there like a line, like a arbitrary line somewhere where like we do or we don't know about like what's next? Like as a quick example, one of the examples that I can think of is like, this is supposed to be, we're democratizing publishing, right? Okay. So that's like definitely known. Well, like, let's make sure that like the actual messaging of the stuff reflects that. And like, obviously with Wix, I know they have Wix Studio now, right? But like, I feel like Wix, at least at first, or I don't know if they pivoted or what, I have to look into their actual marketing strategy more. But like, I know that was part of their thing. It's like all ease of use with these tools. You know what I mean? It's like power, but super ease of use. So I feel like that is something that like maybe we have to do more of. But at the same time, the caveat is, well, do we actually want, like, is that actually a good plan to like produce that or to send that message? Because I think there's a lot of conversations around that. And the last thing too, with Wix specifically, is Wix, from what I understand, has two platforms. Like Jamie said in the video, it's like the regular Wix and they have Wix Studio now, right? I understand it's a product, they can manage all that or whatever. But like, again, like WordPress has so many options, which is, I think, probably to its detriment a lot of times, that it's so difficult to like actually onboard and get understanding of everything because there's too many tools, and I get all that. I don't know. I'm hoping that with the opportunities, hopefully that I've been given here, and I'll share with you guys as time moves forward. Hopefully, like I and the other great people of this community can continue to like with your guys' input as well, like continue to like move this thing in a way where like everybody kind of there's no way everybody's going to agree, but hopefully we continue to move it like up, right? Rather than like just let it stagnate and let other people kind of like come into the fold. I'm not even like 100% sure if that's like a big problem, that like Wix would gain shares. And I know the numbers aren't the same, right? Like it's not even close, but it's still like, it's just a super meta conversation. And fortunately or unfortunately, I love looking into this shit like from like a more of a philosophical, like 50,000 foot view level, because, and then getting into the weeds because I don't know. I just do it. I don't know why. What do we got here? I read that one. You just can't directly compare the challenges of marketing an open source product with no corporate budgeting versus a for-profit corp with a marketing budget and staff to increase their bottom line. Yes, but something needs to change, right? Was the reply to that. And then one of the first issues is using the word WordPress as if it means one thing. That said, I'm deeply concerned with how we are presenting WordPress. The demotion of the Make marketing team is problematic. So, Peter, as always, appreciate you, brother. We should chat. Would love to do that. But, I mean, again, just based off the comment there, I agree with that, and I know that that is like the instinctual response. And again, I'm new here, we'll call it, okay? But my thing is that I hear that, but I don't. I feel like the caveat, the one tweak to it that I'm saying is, I don't think we need to throw all the money necessarily at it like they do. Like Jamie again says, like they have 200 people in their marketing department. They're spending like, thousands of dollars per like YouTube video or whatever to get influencers to publish it. I get all that. But I'm saying like, I think actually if we just had more of like a slightly more concise, like you say there, like a slightly more concise way of explaining what WordPress is, what it can do and all that, then and that gets resonated a little bit more. I think you could, like if I was more understanding of what exactly WordPress was supposed to be or how it was supposed to be marketed, or if we all came together like that, and I know it is already happening. I'm kind of like saying this a little bit like before the actions start getting taken. If we did that, I feel like it would just benefit everyone. And I feel like somebody like me who is having these conversations would be able to say like to a random like a random average person, be like, I say to them, I build WordPress websites and I make WordPress content and stuff like that online or whatever. And they say to me, oh, WordPress, I thought that was gone. I thought we were done with that. And then I stand there and I'm like, what? So it's like, I just think a lot of times, and again, Peter, you would know this from like talking to other people, like just in meetups and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I think it's not an easy problem to solve, but I think that we don't want it to make it like one specific thing, because WordPress isn't one specific thing, but like maybe just like a better way to kind of explain what it's capable of without overwhelming, and then just like selling like the main thing of, I don't know, like open source is like a huge selling point, obviously, right? For all of us. But like we need a way to like translate that, I feel, to like an average person, because the average person doesn't know probably what that word means, what those words mean. And then they probably don't know why that's beneficial. That's the key one. And then like, yeah, you could explain it to them, but then I don't know. I just honestly, just every single time that I've seen it, and again, you would know more than me, every single time I've seen it, it's like people get into it and then they just get lost. And then they get mad, and then they like never come back to WordPress. It almost happened to me. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It almost happened to me because I got in 2018, and I was like, do I literally have to use a theme and just change like certain like pictures and text and stuff like that? Like, how do I create like a bespoke layout and website? And if I didn't find Elementor at the time when it was way smaller than it is now, then I wouldn't be here. I guarantee you, I would have given up. So I'm just saying, like, if that was me and that was somebody who was technically inclined, what do you, like, I don't know. I'm literally just asking a question. What do regular people think? Like, what do average plumbers or whatever people think? And then again, it goes back to the conversation we had earlier, is like, is that somebody, like, should we be like harping on that? Should we be harping on more of like a two type of solution where like one is like super streamlined, basic and simple, and the other one is like do it literally absolutely do whatever you want, like WordPress.org, like again, .com.org. I mean, it is literally set up perfectly for that. But I don't see the messaging in that realm. But again, I appreciate that point, and I think that it is valid. But at the same time, I'm like, I hear the project versus product argument, and I understand it, but I'm tired of hearing the thing of like we can't hire 200 marketing people. I don't think you have to. We have people. I don't see as much Webflow and like and stuff like that content as I do like WordPress people. Like the other thing is, the other like like small little, I feel like thing that we're kind of forgetting is like, you wouldn't be in WordPress. You absolutely wouldn't be making WordPress content if you didn't have like part of your character of I want to help other people, because that's just kind of the whole way the community is. Like, it's like, I want to help other people. This is an open source project. We're kind of all together here. You know, obviously we want to make money too, but that's not, you know, it's just, that's the vibe I get. You know, so I'm saying like there's already this whole disposal. And I know, again, with, I don't know the full details of like the marketing team like kind of being like disbanded type thing, but I know like the next iteration of that, I think, and I'm hoping, is going to be like more of kind of what I'm describing, where it's not a closed system, but it is like it like there's like, hey guys, how do we think we should message this? Let's have a conversation. And then like we think of it, and then it's like, okay, this is how it's going to be. But again, I guarantee you that there is going to be situations where people that have never seen it like that are going to be emotionally charged because it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that based on what they think. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying like that is literally what I'm seeing. Like the line of thinking in the WordPress community is fascinating to me. I mean, it's, again, there's a lot of good. It's just. I literally feel like that. I'm going back to that, and I'm going to start using that more, because I feel like, again, I'm kind of like fresh into it, and I'm trying to like analyze it all. And there's a lot of people that have been here for a very long time. It is literally like they grew. It's like they feel like they grew up with it. They feel like they've been they watched it evolve. They were part of it evolve, and I love that. And I think that that's a huge asset to the community. At the same time, though, I literally do not see many young people working with WordPress. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spots, but I've been in meetups, I've been on the internet, and I am one of the youngest people that I've seen. Now, I'm not saying that is a direct good or bad thing, but I am saying that it is a fact from everything I've seen. Again, I know there's probably younger people, but I'm saying that if that is the case, then like, what about what about the next gen of WordPress people, will call it, right? Like, is there more of them? Should we think about how they're thinking? Should we think about how to market to those people? Should we think about how to get to them before Wix does? Like, I don't know. That's the way I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You guys tell me. I was at the same point of you where Mark Szymanski. I was about to give up 100,000 times on WP. I guess perseverance paid off. Yeah, I mean, I love WP. I love open source. I love that. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to see it to continue to get better. I bring up the marketing budget because too many people compare Wix and Shopify to WP marketing, which can never be fairly compared. Again, I totally agree on the budget side. I just still think that there's other. If that is the case, because I'll totally grant that point, we need to think of other ways to do it. It's that simple. I mean, it's either we can't compare them because they're not apples to apples, which is a fair point. Okay, but does that mean we're not going to do any marketing? Does that mean we're not going to like try to do what they do but in a different way? That would be pretty innovative. I think that would be a good step. And again, I do think that we have some of that coming down the pipeline. I'm hoping it's good. But that is 100% a fair point. College students hear WordPress and throw up in their mouth. Patrick, appreciate you being here, brother. I mean, yes, I think I'll tell you one quick anecdote. It's an anecdote, but I tried to teach my cousin one time WordPress, and I was sitting there for like an hour, and his eyes glazed over. And again, like we say WordPress, and again, going back to Peter's point, like it's not, you can't just say I taught him WordPress, but I think I just want us to make sure that we're, for lack of a better term, keeping up with the times, okay? Because I'm in this spot where like I see the young people and I don't resonate with all the TikTok shit and all this stuff. Like I don't resonate with everything. Like they're doing some weird shit, no doubt. And then I see the older generation and I'm like, I'm not perfectly there either with you guys. So I'm trying to be like this conduit. I feel like that's one thing that I could potentially add here, where it's like, guys, we need to like, I love this platform. I want to see it continue, but it's kind of gotten a little antiquated not in necessarily the technology or anything, but in the way in which that it is kind of presented, and the messaging has gone a little stale compared to these new flashy ones. Do I think we should go 100% flashy as fuck and no substance? No. But do we need to like take maybe a couple pieces of inspiration and like some thoughts from that and blend that in with the actual WordPress core, not like the actual core, but like the actual core of WordPress, what it is, the open source nature and everything like that, messaging, 100%. You like, I mean, it just, this is why I hate the project versus product conversation, because I understand it's a project, but at some point, like, do you want, I feel like a question would be, do you want the project to die because you didn't think of it as much? Like, if I don't keep working on a project, if I don't keep trying to get other people to use the project, won't the project die? And I'm not saying we're not necessarily doing that. We're going in the weeds here. I just want it. It's what I'm thinking. It's what I feel. It's what I see. And I think all of the criticisms and the praises and the criticisms, like a lot of them, there's a lot of really valid stuff there, and I'd like to continue the conversation. Brendan with the little 100 there, appreciate you, dog. Isaac, appreciate you being here. Why would they? WordPress fails the vibe check again and again. I think that was in regards to Patrick's comment there. I mean, I don't necessarily like disagree with that. I think just what I said. We need to keep moving forward. Keys and Coffee, hey, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Hey, man, popping by real quick before our team call since I saw you were live. Thank you for all the value. Appreciate you. Thank you. I was building our client portal last night following your videos. Got the user pieces set up, just the dashboard now. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's great. Put a lot of work into that series. If you have any more specific stuff there, let me know, because I stalled out there just because I want to make sure that you guys are getting the value if you're watching this. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'll make more specific videos on it. But I just kind of like ran out of general ideas, we'll call it, for the series. So yeah, let me know. Appreciate you. Mike McAllister tried to address one of WP's fundamental problems with the creation of the onboarding wizard on the WP Ollie WP theme. I don't know about that specifically, like what he did there, but if I'm understanding correctly, yeah, there's not really like a good onboarding experience for it. It seems like for WordPress in general, which makes sense, which is good and bad. I mean, like, you do want it to kind of be the wild, wild west, but I think like one of the cool things would be like if you gave people like options, you know what I mean, in a way. But I don't know. These aren't easy problems to solve, okay? And I know I'm not the first one probably to talk about these, but I would like to just move the needle forward, like, I don't know, half a centimeter. See my above note about starting a non-make marketing communication effort. So many great ways to promote the value of WP and learning WP. Yeah. Yep. I love that. I mean, the Slack, everything like that's fantastic. For young people, democratized publishing is attractive, but they also become valuable for recruiting. So many benefits. Let me read that again. For young people, democratized publishing is attractive. I mean, yeah, I think so. But they also become valuable for recruiting. So many benefits. Do you mean like recruiting them to work for you, or you're gonna need to give me a little bit more info on that? But I don't like the democratized publishing. Like, yeah, but I gotta be honest. Okay, this is a hot take, and I'm just speculating based on what I know. Also, I have to run in like 5 minutes very quickly. But the democratized publishing thing is awesome, but also though, I'm gonna generalize, and I'm gonna probably piss off a lot of young people that aren't watching. But I am a youngish person. Young people don't fucking know what they're talking about. Like, a lot of times, like they don't know what that actually means until they've like actually gone through a lot of that or understood that. So like the democratizing of publishing like is cool, but at the same time, they're probably gonna see a flashy fucking Webflow animation and be like, wow, that's awesome, and I can do it with one click. So what I'm saying is, like, I feel like the wisdom that we have in the WordPress community is invaluable, but the problem is, like, we have to translate that into like something the next generation can actually understand and see the value in. Is I think one of our actual potentially main problems. So yeah, democratizing publishing is absolutely attractive, but at the same time, like, do they all understand exactly like what that actually means for them and how it can value? I think that's a big conversation now. Would it kill WordPress core to have some sort of basic onboarding wizard? Yeah, I would think that would be, yes, I think that'd be a good idea. But it'd have to be like kind of like dual prong, because you don't want to like push people. They have skills in the workplace. Many employers use WordPress 100%. I got to run here, so I appreciate you guys all being here. WordPress is a wild, wild west when it comes to automatic. Want to brag about the plugin system, but as soon as you think new feature, it's shoved down all the sidebars and admin menus. Pros and cons. Yeah, I don't we could talk about that too. Part of this has to be UX UI. The next gen grew up on their phone and apps. If you want to use WordPress watching an old movie, yeah, that's 100% true. 100% true there. Definitely need WordPress mobile as a fully developed thing. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know what other platforms have, but I would be super interested to see more of that. Not mobile, but the ease of use on mobile allows things. Yeah, I mean, you can't really change too much like on mobile. I've tried that actual app before. Guys, listen, I got to go. Head over to this other thing here if you want to hear more of my takes on a couple random topics here that we're talking about here on this WP Tonic episode. But listen, I really appreciate this conversation. I think it needs to be continued to have. There's a lot of other voices that are doing a great job. I'm just trying to add my little bit of piece to it. Can't thank you guys enough for the support and the engagement here. If you have any questions, thoughts, whatever, leave them in the comments down below. And I will chat with you at the latest next week. So thank you guys.